Hey guys, welcome back to my blog. My name is Robert. I'm a digital marketing fundraiser, and I like to share on my blog things that are hopefully helpful to you. Resources, tools, ideas, templates maybe. If you're subscribed to my blog, you do get access to the templates that I've referenced in a few of these Part 1, Part 2, Part 3 blog posts, so take a look at that if you're interested. They are specifically templates for Classy that allow you to make a custom layout grids, things like this. The grid here, 3-column, mobile-friendly, responsive grid for Classy. Classy is coming out with a new page layout builder that I'm excited to use, but I think their page layout builder is limited to 2 or 3 columns max. With these layout templates, you can actually combine their page builder columns with my layout templates to further divide page sections down. So that's just a little tip for you on what's coming up with Classy. I don't work for Classy. I actually work for a nonprofit that uses Classy, but I like their product a lot, and so I like to talk about them and things that we're finding we can do to improve the user experience, and hopefully it helps you guys out too. So today I want to talk about this newest post here, Chat GPT and add to calendar links for events. If we look at the Classy feedback forum, there's 130 votes for this feature request, add to calendar event option. So you've finished registering for an event, you've gotten the confirmation email, or you're on the confirmation page, and these people that are voting for this, I'm one of them, actually want to be able to put a link on the thank you confirmation page and things that says, hey, add this to your calendar because of Danielle right here. No one can remember anything if they don't put it on their calendar immediately. She's not wrong. That's exactly how that works. Cool thing for you guys to know though, this was posted in August of 2020. The most recent comment was November 15th of last year, 2022, and this still isn't available in Classy. However, not built in anyway. You can do this yourself though. You can do add to calendar links in Classy with simple link generators. I actually have a blog post about that on my blog right here, add to calendar in Classy. You can use this blog post to find the generators, link generators, to be able to create add to calendar links for Classy. But I want to take it one step further. This past week I was thinking to myself, I've been using Chat GPT for some coding assistance at work and things like that, and so I thought, can Chat GPT help us put add to calendar links on our Classy pages? How would that work? What would it improve? That kind of a thing. So I've written a blog post for you guys, and we're going to quickly go through the process and just show you visually what it looks like. I'll probably put this video on my blog after I'm done, so you'll see this there as well. So if you're seeing it then, scroll down, check it out. Check out the instructions, check out the prompt, learn about prompt engineering, learn about Chat GPT, and learn about how AI can assist you in your workflow. So first thing we're going to take a look at though is the original, the manual quote-unquote style of doing add to calendar links in Classy, or in any platform really. It doesn't have to be Classy. Any platform you want. You can put these in your emails, you can put these in, if you use MailChimp for example for sending emails, you could send an email to every event registrant, person is registered, and send an email after the event registration process, a couple days before the event or something, and have them add to their calendar still. You can still put those links out there publicly. You could put it on social media if you wanted to. Kind of makes more sense in the user experience for it to happen after they've attended, or after they've registered I should say, but use the links where you want to. Okay, so we've jumped over here. Actually, I need to scroll back up to show you the top of the blog post. This is the Add to Calendar in Classy post, originally posted in May of 22. If you read this blog post, it actually goes into pretty deep detail about what each type of calendar link does, what kind of calendar links you need for each type of calendar platform, that kind of a thing. Apple, for example, Apple iOS, Outlook Desktop, Google Calendar, they all have different formattings for how they need you to deliver information to the user so that the user's calendar can accept it. Apple iOS is a great example. You have to actually download an ICS file. And so you, the user, have to generate an ICS file, download it, upload it to your website, and then post the link to that ICS file in your, wherever you're sharing this add to calendar options. And then the user downloads the ICS file and opens it to add it to their calendar. That's how you do it for Apple iOS. You can't do it with a simple one-click link. It just doesn't work that way. Outlook Desktop, Google Calendar, Office 365, Yahoo Calendar, those are the ones that I've featured in these two posts. Those you can do a single one-click, automatically add it to your calendar, and that's platform specific. It's Apple that requires that. It's not the browser. It's not your website. It's just that's how Apple iOS devices accept event invitations. So, okay, so if you scroll down to the bottom of the blog post, I do recommend you read the rest of it though, but for today's resources, just to take a look at this generator, we're going to scroll down to the bottom. I'm going to go to this one here, labnull.org. This is what the original process, the current process, if you don't use Chat GPT, this is what the process looks like. You go to this page, you bookmark it so you can save it for later, you type in your title, event location, description, add your time zone. We're not in India Standard Time. I don't know why it's saying that, but whatever. You can make it an all-day event if you want. If you do, it'll hide the time zone, the individual times of day. If you uncheck that, it'll show you the times of day that you can put on there. And then you can put in your date, start and end time. Technically, you can make the event last multiple days, so you could have your calendar invite, calendar link cover multiple days if your event is a multi-day event. And then down here at the bottom, as you modify content here, so like this is my event. As you modify content, it's going to put that content down here in the links. So we're currently under the Yahoo Calendar tab. I can tell because it's got Yahoo Calendar right there. And we're just going to go over and take a look at the event title. It should be under like summary. Here we go, title. I think Google calls it a summary. Title is, this is my event. And the %20s are just a coded way to show a space, basically. So that's what you need to generate. So this is the link we're going to have Chat GPT generate for us, and these are the questions we're going to have Chat GPT ask us in order to get this information. So let's jump over to the new blog post. In the new blog post, as you scroll down, you can see that we have some links to the original Add to Calendar blog post if you want to take a look at that. I think I also linked to the Litmus article. No, I linked to the Litmus article. Oh, here we go. Litmus article. That's the Litmus article link as well. So you can find those links here as well. You can also find a link to Chat GPT a couple places here. So I recommend that you go ahead and click on Chat GPT link. Get signed up for Chat GPT. I signed in through Google. You can sign in through a couple different single sign-on platforms. And then my art blog is going to go through basically how do Add to Calendar links work, how does Chat GPT work a little bit, what is prompt engineering, and how do you create a prompt, what is the prompt doing, that kind of thing. And then here's the actual prompt. So where it says start prompt, go ahead and copy from there forward to where you see end prompt. And then you can modify if you want a different calendar or don't want to include one of these calendars, go ahead and remove one. Notice that Apple Calendar is not on this list because we are telling it later you need to create a code snippet for a complete ICS file needed for adding the event to Apple Calendar. So this is going to be where we add Apple Calendar, and these are the links it's going to generate. So you're going to get 4 individual click links and then an Apple Calendar link, or ICS file that you'll need to save as an ICS file and upload to your website to make the link from your website. Okay, so we're going to copy that, and then we'll jump over to ChatGPT in a minute. Right down here we have additional rules that should follow. Feel free to read through those and see what it's doing. Basically, I went through a trial and error process and said, what do I want the user experience to be like? What do I want it to tell me when I'm typing in information, when it's asking me for this information? It's actually a lot more complex than just the simple generator, because there's situations like time zone, for example. If I don't know my own time zone, or if I don't know the event time zone, let's say that the event is in a time zone that is not my home time zone, then I might need to figure that out before I can fill out this form. But based on the zip code you provide for your event location, ChatGPT is actually going to interpret the time zone. Some zip codes are divided by multiple time zones, and so you might be in a zip code that has 2 time zones, and you have to figure out which time zone you're going to be in. And so ChatGPT will take the zip code, and when it figures out that that zip code is divided by 2 time zones, it'll ask you which time zone is the appropriate one, so you can go look it up and figure it out. That's the kind of thing that that's the kind of thing that's a benefit to using ChatGPT in this way instead of using this simple generator. Honestly, at the end of the day, it's asking you for the same information. It's asking you for the same title, same event location, same description, same time zone, all this stuff. And it's going to generate the same links. It's actually going to generate this link. It's not going to generate an HTML link for you to copy and paste. And it's not going to generate an HTML button that's styled at all. I was operating under the assumption that most of you have brand standards that have certain button styles or certain things like that you'll want to apply these to yourself. And frankly, with Classy, keeping things a little plain text in some of these areas is actually sometimes a good thing. because it makes it more mobile friendly. But instead of having to go to each of these individual things and find which link you want and yada yada, and then downloading the ICS file, it's going to put it all right there for us. And so we're going to copy this prompt all the way down to where it says end prompt. There's some important notes here as well, just to remember that like Chat GPT is an AI, and so you know, sometimes it's going to time out. Sometimes it's going to run out of processing power, and it's not going to be able to go forward with you. I tried to get Chat GPT to refer me to Google Maps if it couldn't find the location address for me. If I put in the name of the location and it couldn't find the address for me, I tried to ask it to tell me to go to Google Maps to confirm, but it seemed to get distracted by that, so I removed that option. Feel free to play with it though and add some more rules you should follow to include that if you are interested in trying. And then I did technically, because I'm asking it to ask me one question at a time to simplify the user experience. So all you have to focus on is one question at a time. Answer one question, let it process it, that kind of thing. I tested this multiple times and ran into a problem where it timed out because I had used too many messages in Chat GPT back to back to back. And so you're probably not going to have that situation unless you have a lot of events that you're trying to create add to calendar links for all at once. Or if you run into a situation where you type in the wrong information multiple times and you have to do this more than once. So this will run more than once in a row, but I ran it probably a dozen times or so yesterday within an hour, and it told me I needed to cool my jets. So that's what we're going to do here today is try to run it just once and make up some event details for you. Okay, so we got that prompt. Just to cover the rest of it, the rest of the blog talks about going to the Litmus article, learning some more about using those links and things, some 301 redirect suggestions, so you can modify any links you put out there for like a Zoom call. If you put the wrong Zoom call link in your Chat GPT generator, or in this generator, put the wrong Zoom link in the event description, then you have to, everybody who received the event calendar update or put it on their calendars, all those are broken. You'd have to notify everybody that they have to update their calendar link, and that's always annoying. So I highly recommend vanity URLs or 301 redirects in the event description, because then you can modify the destination of the vanity URL whenever you want, at any time. If the Zoom link changes, that's fine. Your link from your website does not change, and so the user can have a seamless experience in that way. So I highly recommend you read the rest of the blog post that talks about that. But for right now, let's grab this prompt and jump into ChatGPT. If you're new to ChatGPT, you're probably going to get the welcome screen where you have to click a button to try it. It says Try ChatGPT. It is free. It is limited. There is limited data. It can only know certain information up to like 2001, that kind of a thing. And there's certain limitations to its ability to work for us. But what we're basically using it for today is a chatbot. We're going to turn it into a chatbot for us, and we're going to have that chatbot combine information that we provide it into the links that we need. So we're going to go over to New Chat. Let me refresh the page here. I've been timed out on this for a while we've been talking. This occasionally happens because it's getting used by a lot of people. Okay, well, we have the New Chat window up here. Sometimes you can hit New Chat and different chat sections will show up here, and you can kind of track your conversations you've had with ChatGPT, or you can just jump in like we're going to do right now. We're going to take that prompt and we're going to just paste it right here, and there's nothing else you have to change. You just paste it in. The formatting that you've lost, like the bullet lists and things, that's fine, don't worry about that. And hit the send button or hit enter to give ChatGPT the instructions. And it's going to think a minute as it reads the original prompt. It's going to think and go, hey, how's it going? I did program it to make sure that all your spelling is correct on your event, because once you generate these links, they're kind of hard to change. And so I did program it to, or prompt it to tell me to make sure all the spelling is correct, because it will affect the details of the calendar event. And if you're ready, let's get started with what's the title of your event. We're going to call it My Event Title. And it's going to think for a second, move on to the next step. Okay. Confirming the date of the event for the calendar reminder. Let's do July 6th. Oh, I mistyped. I put a typo in there. Let's see if it catches it. It's a little slow this morning. It isn't always this slow, and the more often you do it in the same conversation, the less it has to refer to your prompt, because it knows what you're talking about. It's happening in the current year. Yeah, it's 2023. So I could have said yes as well, by the way. Because it's an AI, it can interpret multiple things. So it asked me the question, is your event happening in the current year? Which means I could have said yes, and then it would also interpret that as 2023. And so I'm telling it 2023 instead, just based on my response. And so that's the nice thing about this being an AI, is that it's responsive to the user. It can take multiple types of input. It doesn't have to be you have to say yes or no, or you have to respond with Y or N. It can be I can respond with 2023, or I can respond with yes in this case. And it's so polite. Perfect, thank you. It appears that you didn't specify a time for the event. Does that mean it's an all-day event? No, it's not an all-day event. It's actually got a time. We're going to call it, 2 to 4 p.m. Must be a lot of people on Chat GPT this morning, because this did not take this long yesterday. There we go. What time does your event start and end? Okay, let's go with 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock p.m. It already knows the date, so I don't got to tell it that. Yes, there is a venue location. Let's call it. And notice that here I'm actually going to put the venue location. I'm not just going to answer yes or no. I'm going to answer yes and put the location in the answer. So I'm going to say yes, Rocky Stadium, Denver. Let's even say Denver, Colorado. You don't have to. Let's just say Denver, actually. Now, I've programmed the prompt to say, okay, if I give you information but I don't give you an address, try to go find the address. Thanks for letting me know. Can you please provide me with the full street address of the Rocky Stadium in Denver? Can you find it for me? In previous tests, this has actually done this automatically. It wouldn't have asked, can you please provide me with the full street address? It might be because I didn't give it Colorado. If I'd given it Denver, Colorado, it might have kicked back the information sooner. But there, it found it, 2001 Blake Street. I do actually know that's the correct address, and so, yes, that is correct. Okay, and that's going to ask me for the description of the event, and ask me to include any information such as parking instructions, links to online resources, consider using a vanity URL, like I mentioned earlier, and then for just personal shameless branding, I've included my link to the original blog post about this, so you can go back and refer to that whenever you want. So we're going to go ahead and say this is a test description. I would include parking details. If I can type here. And now it's going to take the zip code for the address that I provided, or that I confirmed, and it's going to ask me if that time zone is correct. Based on what it knows about time zones and zip codes, it's going to say, is this the correct time zone for you? Because you need that for the event calendar invite, so that your donors or your event attendees or whatever can know that the event they're attending is in a certain time zone. So being here in Mountain Time in Denver actually means that when I go to conferences on the East Coast or on the West Coast, or I deal with people from a vendor who are on the East Coast or the West Coast, the meeting time for being on Mountain Time or Eastern Time or Central or Pacific actually really matters a lot. And so it is important for that for your calendar event as well. And so we're going to say, yes, that's correct. It is Mountain Time, because we are here in Denver. And then the last thing it asks is, do you need to include an event organizer name and email address? Technically, there's an option in some of the calendar generators to add an event organizer. I believe it either sends that as the person setting up the event, or it may add the information later. The point is that you can basically include somebody if you want a point of contact. If I have questions about this event, who should I contact? This is the person you'd put in here. I'm going to say no for this case, because I don't want to put anybody's information in here on this YouTube video. Great, so it's got all the information it needs, and now it's going to generate these links for us. It uses this code snippet thing. It's now adjusted to Perl, P-E-R-L. Now it's going to VBNet or whatever. It's usually going to be Perl. It just depends on what it thinks it's supposed to be showing you. It is a really easy one-click copy. You can just click here to copy the text within that box. So this is for Google Calendar, this is for Outlook. Outlook and Office 365 are two different platforms, and so you do have to have two different links. You can't just do Outlook Online and Outlook as a desktop application. So Outlook in this case is the desktop application, while Office 365 is the online version of Outlook. And it's going to create a Yahoo Calendar link for us. So this is doing the exact same thing as this form. And honestly, this form's a little faster, to be honest. But if you like Chat GPT and you want to kind of explore with it and learn with it, this is a great way to do it. Great purview into trying to learn how to do prompt engineering, trying to learn how to interact with it. And frankly, you may have a situation where someone might actually have a better experience interacting this way with it instead of trying to interact this way, filling out all the details. Personally, if it was me, I would probably just stick with the generator because it's not that complex. It's asking for the same information and it's more simplified. But the whole point of this blog post was to explore if Chat GPT could do this, and it totally can. And again, you can do this in Classy right now. If you're one of these 130 votes over here, come to my blog, learn how to do this, figure out how to get these links and add them to your Classy campaigns. Because there's no reason you shouldn't be doing this. If you have events, especially fundraising events, and your nonprofit relies on those fundraising events to generate the revenue that you guys need to operate, you need to remind your people that they can actually do this. You need to remind your event attendees that they can come to the event and help them participate in it. And it's simple. It's really simple. This is probably a more complicated way to do this than just using a generator, but it can be done. Here's a couple different ways to do it. So here with these links, basically you would take this link and you would go to, let's go back to my original Add to Calendar blog post, because I really like this layout of the links down here near the bottom. Here it is in the middle. I really like this layout here because it's very simple. It tells you exactly what platform you're on. If you're one of the users for an Apple Calendar, you know exactly what you're looking for. If you're on Outlook Desktop, you know exactly what you're looking for. So I really like this layout. I highly recommend this. It's really simple. It's mobile responsive. It'll stack as it goes onto mobile if the screen gets smaller than the width of this. And it's just really clear. And you can put a heading above it. You can style it how you want, whatever. You can put this in a custom code block. If you use my custom code block templates, you can put this in a custom code block, and then it'll be inside of a mobile responsive column or something like that. So what you basically do is you take, this is the Google Calendar link, copy this, or just copy there, one-click copy. Go to your page builder and say, okay, we're going to take the Google Calendar link, highlight it, click that link icon, paste your link. Go back, grab the Outlook link. Go back to your layout here, go to the Outlook one, highlight it, click that link icon, paste your link in. When it finally comes down, do that for the rest of them, and when it finally comes down to putting in the Apple ICS element, what you have to do is you have to copy the code, and then go down here to, let's say, your Start menu, and open WordPad. You need to make an ICS file out of this. ChatGPT cannot make the ICS file for you. ChatGPT is just a chat bot, essentially, that has a lot of data and a lot of AI stuff behind it, and you have to make your own file out of this. It can't generate the file for you, but it can tell you what the file should contain. And actually, instead of WordPad, I'm going to go to Notepad. Notepad's a little bit easier. It doesn't have as much layout and formatting options. So you're going to paste your text from here, right there. Just copy that, paste it into a Notepad file, and then you're going to go File, Save As, and then give it a name. So call it like, go to Desktop maybe, and call it, I like to do the year and the month. So 23-0, let's say 03. It's currently March. So 2303 underscore my event invite, or my event calendar, let's say. And then if it's a version, you could call it, 01, 02, whatever. And then instead of a text document, you don't want it to be a text document. You want it to be an ICS file. So we're going to go to All Files. That'll show some pictures, like me and my wife. We got some pictures with a couple of parrots at a bird pet store, basically, that we found. And you're going to go ICS at the end. So you're going to say .ics there at the end, and then just hit save. Doesn't matter that you can't select ICS from this menu. When you save it, it's going to know to make it an ICS file. So we're going to save that. And now, I'm not going to show you this part, but basically what you would do next is you would go to the back end of your website, right? If you're on WordPress, you're going to go to your dashboard or something, and you're going to go to your media uploader. If you're not on WordPress, you might have an FTP link to get into the data, into the hosting side of your website. Essentially, you want to upload your file somewhere that somebody can download it. I believe this blog post goes into detail about not using Dropbox. Here we go, yeah. If you're thinking about using a file sharing platform like Dropbox or Google Drive, you may run into trouble. Be prepared to troubleshoot any problems that come from using a shared drive. That should say drive. I'm going to have to go modify my blog here now. Make sure that you're sharing the ICS file from a place that people can download it from. It needs to be hosted somewhere, like this sentence says. So put it on your website, put it in your media storage, whatever. Make sure it can be clicked and downloaded from somewhere, and then test it. If you don't have an iPhone, go find a coworker who does and ask them to click on a link. Don't send that by email though, without telling them ahead of time that you're doing this, because it might sound like a phishing email. But find a coworker who has an iOS device or something and have them test the ICS file, see if it did what you wanted it to do, and then test all your other links to make sure that they also work in Yahoo Calendar, Office 365, things like that. And then have fun making your events work for your donors, and put them everywhere. Put them everywhere you can. When somebody's registered, put it on the email, put it on the confirmation page, anywhere that somebody could find it helpful to give themselves a reminder to come to your event. Put that information there, and you'll hopefully have a much higher turnout to your events. You'll have a much higher result from your events, getting more fundraising and things. And try out Chat GPT in other ways. Think of prompts that are helpful for you. Think of things that you have to do, tedious tasks that you might have to do every day, and how Chat GPT can help you simplify those things. And so have fun with it.